Hello, grade 12s. I just want to talk to you for a few minutes about our research project. I'm going to attach to this video like an example of how to carry out the investigation and maybe make some calculations. But just to kind of add a little bit to that, you guys are going to choose any topic you'd like. Okay, so I've had students want to investigate sprinters and have they been getting faster over time. I've had people investigate vaping, what's going on with vaping, are cancer rates going up, and anything associated with that. I've had a lot of students make projects about sports comparisons. So who is the best shooter in this era? Or have NBA players been getting better? Okay, and they can use different measures or statistics to help guide them with their investigation. Okay, so this topic can be about anything as long as you have enough data to work with to try to form some calculations. Okay, so as you are going through this and as you're starting your process of coming up with a topic and coming up with an idea, keep that in mind that you're going to need statistics to back it up. Preferably these statistics would be from Stats Canada or something approved where you know all the statistics are good and solid and they were measured correctly. That's not always possible for this. So as long as the site seems reputable, I'm okay with it. We're going to kind of let it slide here. As long as you can get some data to work with that's going to help you do your calculations and use those calculations to form a conclusion. Okay. So I'll attach here a little example here that I went through, but another thing I want to talk about is the presentation itself. It's going to be about 5 minutes. If you go over that, that's okay. 5 minutes is just kind of a landmark, try to aim for around that length. What I would suggest, you can either take a little YouTube video, insert some pictures. That's an option. I think the easiest way might be through PowerPoint. So if you make a PowerPoint, I know you're allowed to record your voice over the slides. That might be one of your best options. What else could you do? If you wanted to print things out and just kind of have it in front of you and use those diagrams and calculations to just make a little video from a phone, have someone record you, that's an option. I'm really open to any way or any means to get this process, or get this presentation done. Okay, so it's up to you. I'll provide some options, but you're responsible for making a around 5-minute video. Okay, all right. I'll attach a little example here and take a look. Good morning, grade 12s, and our few grade 11s. I won't forget about you guys too. All right, so I want to make a video just to give you an idea of how to approach our data management project. Okay, so for my problem here, I'm going to be doing an investigation on data management classes over the last decade. Okay, so my question, and you guys can have a question about any topic as long as you have some 1 variable data and 2 variable data to look at, you can probably accomplish your goal here. So my question will be, you know what, how has our data management classes, how have they changed over the past decade? And are they getting smarter or are they getting higher achieving? And I'm going to base my question around that. Okay? So if I had a set of 10 sets of marks, let's say from 2010 to 2020, and I wanted to look at those marks and I wanted to compare them from year to year, there's a bunch of different calculations I could use to help me make some points and just to kind of analyze the data. So the first thing I'm going to look at is, let's say I take 1 year of marks, and this is an entire class set, okay? So this is going to be This is some 1 variable data. So from one variable, our marks, there's a bunch of different calculations we can gather. Okay, so from this set of data, we can calculate the range, we can calculate quartiles, we can calculate an interquartile range, we can calculate and see if there are any outliers. What else could we do? We could calculate a mean, median, and mode. From one set of data, we can also calculate a standard deviation or a variance. What else could we do? So we've got our measures of central tendency, we've got standard deviation and variance. These are kind of helping with our measures of spread. Same with these. And if I'm missing anything, I'll try to add it in. But here's an example of just some of the things we can do with just one set of data here. Okay? So the range can tell me how far apart were the marks. Quartiles, where's our middle 50% of our class? Kind of what values are they between? Interquartile range, we can look at our Q3 and our Q1. Outliers, if I had a particularly strong or particularly weak student in that specific class, were they an outlier? Standard deviation and variance, how spread out is this data? So in some years, did we have a large standard deviation would mean that we had some really high achievers, some really low achievers, kind of what was happening there. For me, I would probably prefer a small standard deviation. I would rather have, let's say if the average was 74, I would rather have all of my kids closer to a 74 than have those extremes. Let's see. Yeah, so those are just some of the things that we could explore with just one set of data here, so one variable. Two variable data, so something like this comparing the year and the mean for each year. So let's say I have all 10 years here. What can I do with this? Well, I can create a scatter plot. Okay, so I've got my x and my y variable here. From that, I can draw a line of best fit. And remember, in our class, we were using software to do this, so I could put in these values in a linear regression calculator and have it draw me an accurate line of best fit. When you have a line of best fit, what can you do with that? I can interpolate or extrapolate. So let's say I wanted to look at, by 2025, if I follow this pattern, what would I expect the grade to be? That would be an example of extrapolation. Okay, so that would be something I'd be interested in. Interpolation, if for some reason there was a break in this, like let's say I was missing data from 2013, I could use my line of best fit to get a pretty good estimate there. So these are just some of the things we can do. What else can we do with two variable data? We can, if we wanted to, create a, what are they called? Residual plot. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could create a residual plot to see, where people are above and below our line of best fit. And is there anything else we can do here? There's some more things on my list that I should have wrote down here. Oh, you can check out our R squared or our R value from the linear regression. Remember, the closer we are to a positive one, or a -1 means the closer our data is fitting to our line of best fit. And you know what, using some of these things, this is just from a little bit of data, we can do a whole bunch of calculations from our course. So it's just something to help get you started here. What else? Oh yeah, now from this I can draw some conclusions. So I may find that, you know what, as the years have increased, maybe our mean has been increasing as well. Maybe there's been a reason for that. Maybe the opposite is happening. Maybe nothing is happening. Maybe there's no relationship that I can gather from this. And that's okay. We don't need to draw a conclusion, the conclusion that you want, okay? So whatever the data is telling you, we want to just reveal the truth that's in the data, okay? So you don't need to modify it to gather some sort of conclusion here. Okay, so I want you guys to look closely at the rubric. In there, there's a very specific set of expectations. We want to look and see if there's any bias in the data. Maybe there's a hidden variable. Okay, so if you look at our year, this might be some sort of hidden variable. Or if you look at our school from 2010 to 2018, we had someone else teaching the course. Maybe the marks were higher or lower because of that. The last couple of years I've been here, so maybe there's a different style of teaching that maybe helped or hurt our sandwich students. So there's lots of things to investigate, and really all I'm doing is I developed a question and I'm needing tables of data to make calculations and to form some conclusions based off of those calculations. Okay, so that's what I would like you to do. The topic can be anything that you choose. This is just a quick example to illustrate some of the things you can do with just some 1 variable and 2 variable data. All right, thanks.